products. I mean, the lack of meat doesn't make a diet healthy. I think it's the abundance of vegetables and the abundance of natural, unprocessed foods. That's what makes a diet healthy. Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward. And today I have a question from Steven, and he's asking my opinion on plant-based diets. He wants to know if they're good for fat loss and muscle gain. Says he's keen on going plant-based, but worried about being deficient in essential nutrients. Okay, great question. And this is something that I actually do have some experience with. Back in 2014, my wife, Patricia, and I kind of got on the whole plant-based, vegetarian, vegan kick, if you will. I mean, there's a lot of controversy on the internet with regards to, vegan, vegetarian, in terms of, is that a good diet to follow for bodybuilding gains? And I'm not going to get into the whole, bad mouthing and kind of pitching one against the other or anything like that, because quite honestly, there are people who are making great progress on a plant-based diet. There are people making great progress on a mixed diet, meaning animal products and plant-based products. So I'm not going to get into the whole fiasco about it. I'm going to answer Steven's question exactly and share my experience. He wanted to know my opinion, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. So first off, I like a lot of people, I got watching some documentaries. I mean, chances are you've probably done it yourself. You're flicking through Netflix and you see all these different food documentaries, and I watched a whole bunch of them. Forks Over Knives, there was another one, Hungry for Change. There's a whole shitload of them on Netflix. If you start going through them, there's all these pro-vegan, pro-vegetarian diet documentaries, if you will, right? So I watched several of them because I was fascinated with it, and I'm always looking for different things with regards to training and nutrition. So I got watching it, and the stuff that they were saying made a lot of sense, and I was thinking, you know what, maybe this is the way to go. Maybe I've been doing it wrong all these years, eating all this, animal food and eating a high protein diet and stuff like that. So maybe I had it all wrong. So let's try going vegan. Now, we went hardcore right from the get-go, which I don't recommend. Not only did we go vegan, we went raw food vegan. Because I said, you know what, I'm going to make this an experiment, see how it works. So I went raw for, I only lasted 2 weeks, and I was going out of my mind. But anyway, raw food vegan, if you want to look it up, it's basically you're eating no cooked food at all. It's all raw. Fruit and vegetable, nuts and stuff like that. I mean, you're eating all raw, uncooked, plant-based food. And did that for a couple weeks and basically was going out of my mind. I said, I can't do this. So I started adding in more cooked food. So still plant-based, non-meat, but added in some cooked food to get some more calories in my diet. And I did that for a while. And, another few weeks or so doing that. And it didn't feel right. I mean, temporarily, it felt like a bit of a relief. I mean, it was kind of like a detox initially, and there's nothing wrong with doing it, initially, but I found that I felt like my muscles just deflated. I mean, I lost weight on the scale. I felt flat in the gym. I wasn't getting much in the way of a muscle pump. Like, I'd go through my workout routine and everything else, and just felt flat. I just literally felt like I was deflated by following the plant-based diet. So I said, you know what, I'll try and fill in the void, if you will. So I started supplementing with protein powder, getting plant-based protein powders, and thinking, well, maybe the problem, I'm just not getting enough protein. So supplemented with the plant-based protein, and I think it kind of helped a bit, but I still felt flat. I didn't, I was satisfying my hunger and all that kind of stuff, and overall I did feel healthy, if you will, but my strength and energy in the gym just wasn't the same. I just wasn't getting the same degree of muscle pump, didn't feel I was making the same level of muscular gains. From an endurance point of view, my cardiovascular conditioning and cardiovascular endurance did not suffer. If anything, it may have even improved to some degree. And I think this kind of explains why you see a lot of endurance-based athletes who are vegan and do quite well with it. I did find that when I was eating a vegan diet, that my cardiovascular conditioning did not suffer at all. I mean, I was doing a lot of mountain bike riding at the time, and that went well. I mean, I had lots of conditioning and cardiovascular endurance for mountain biking, so I mean, that didn't suffer. But what I did find suffer, for me personally, and again, I'm not trying to pick studies and compare and say, this is going to apply for everybody. I'm just stating what happened for me, is my gains in the gym kind of went flatline, and I actually started losing size. And if you go back to my videos back in 2014 and look at some of the older videos that I made back then, a lot of people were saying, what's wrong, Lee? You're looking skinnier, you're looking smaller. I mean, and I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't confident enough in this diet to make any bold claims, because it was just a personal experiment to see how it worked for me. I mean, I had all kinds of crazy comments come through, people saying, oh, Lee came off steroids because look how much weight he's lost and all this. And even though I was losing weight, I wasn't getting leaner. I was flattening out, but I still had, my body fat was still the same. So I wasn't getting leaner, I was just losing muscle mass. And I was losing strength in the gym. So my gains kind of went down the toilet. And I just stuck with it and tried all kinds of different things, various vegan supplements and everything else. Last going off, we went vegetarian, what do they call it? Octo-labo, or anyway, we had dairy and eggs, because I was thinking, well, maybe I'm still not getting enough protein, so I started supplementing with like whey protein again. I started having eggs with my breakfast and stuff, thinking maybe if I just bumped up the protein a little bit more, it would combat the negative effects that I was getting from it. And I tried that. Still, it helped a little bit, but still not getting the same type of results. So after about 6 months of it, I, kind of doing my homework and everything else and reading different reviews and different people's opinions on it, I said, you know what, it's just not for me. I mean, I gave it an honest effort, at least I figured it was an honest effort. I stuck with it for 6 months. My wife actually stuck with it for longer. She stuck with it for a full year. But after 6 months, I said, you know what, it's not for me. So I went back to eating my normal diet, including, chicken and fish, lean red meat, in addition to the eggs and, protein supplements and things like that, and felt much better. I could feel myself getting fuller. I felt myself getting stronger. My weights in the gym, went back up, and I just felt better. So my personal opinion on plant-based diets is, first off, if you're curious about it and you want to try it out, by all means go for it. I'm not trying to discourage you from following a plant-based diet. I encourage you to do your own self-experiment and see how it works for you. How does your body react to it? And come to your own conclusions. Don't take my word for it. Don't go reading blog posts and articles and anything else, or watching other people's videos. Man up and do it yourself. If you're curious, do it. Give it a try. I mean, you got nothing to lose, right? Give it a try and dedicate a month or 2 months or 6 months, whatever. Just dedicate a time frame where you're going to stick with a plant-based diet and see how it works. Some of the benefits that I got, I mean, there were a lot of benefits. One, you can get very freaking creative with your meals. If you start researching plant-based recipes and different ways to prepare your food without meat and without, dairy and all that kind of stuff, I mean, you'll get very creative. And we made some delicious meals. I mean, we didn't suffer in terms of feeling hungry or deprived. I mean, some of our meals were absolutely delicious. I've had some phenomenal plant-based and totally vegan recipes. Like, I can't think of all the names off the top of my head now, but we were kind of on a kick, and every night, especially during the first few weeks, we try and make a new plant-based meal and looking up different recipes online and stuff like that. And I gotta say, they were some really darn good meals. But I think the biggest thing that I kind of got from this is the benefits to a vegetarian or vegan diet is not so much the lack of meat, but the abundance of vegetables. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if you look at the benefits, I mean, if you're eating a healthy diet that's based on natural, unprocessed foods, that includes a balance of lean animal products, lean meat, fish, chicken, eggs, dairy, that kind of stuff, an abundance of vegetables, so fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy fat in form of like nuts and seeds, avocado, things like that, and eating a well-balanced diet of natural, unprocessed foods, I think that's the way to go. I mean, that is the diet that's going to meet your nutritional needs. It's going to make you feel full and satisfied and healthy. It's going to keep you regular, it's going to keep you strong and all that kind of stuff without the negative consequences. Because simply cutting out meat and animal products doesn't automatically make a diet healthy. I mean, you can get a lot of vegan junk food. I mean, if you go down the cookie aisle and stuff like that, I mean, you look at the stuff that most of us consider junk food. Cakes, cookies, chips, crisps, snack crackers, all these pre-packaged, junk foods. A lot of these are vegan or come in vegan alternatives. There's no animal products in a bag of potato chips. There's no animal products in high fructose corn syrup. There's no animal products in a lot of, the processed junk food. So technically, you could eat a vegan diet and be eating nothing but processed garbage. And so, I mean, it's definitely not healthy to simply avoid animal products. I mean, the lack of meat doesn't make a diet healthy. I think it's the abundance of vegetables and the abundance of natural, unprocessed foods. That's what makes a diet healthy. So, my personal experience, I mean, I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad that I got to see, the other side of the coin, so to speak. But I wouldn't stick with a purely plant-based diet as my diet of choice. I mean, if you had to, of course you would. I mean, you do whatever you had to survive. But if given the choice, and I do have a choice, I prefer to have lean meats and an abundance of vegetables and eat the best of both. So that's my opinion. But again, I encourage you to try it for yourself and come to your own conclusions. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback about this one, and I'm sure there will be a lot of it because anytime you bring up the topic of plant-based diets and stuff like that, you'll really get the controversy going. The hardcore vegans will rip you a new one when they hear this. But again, I'm open-minded to it, and I encourage you to post your comments and feedback down below and let the discussion begin. So take care. Over and out.